I thought every phase was a big part of that victory there. I thought offense, defense, and special teams they all stepped up and did a good job, especially in the second half. And it took the whole team. CCSU is a very good football team, and we knew that going in there. And we knew it was going to be a battle, and we knew every phase was going to be a battle. And I thought, every part of our phase, they came out there and they kept battling. It wasn't always pretty. It didn't always work. There wasn't always good plays. There was a number of bad plays in those different phases. But I thought our guys just kept going, and leaned on each other. And we talked about you're gonna go out there and you're gonna have a one-on-one battle, but you're gonna have to go out there as a team and win this game. And I think that was the big difference, that we played as a team, and we're fortunate enough to end up on the right end there at the end.
Delby, for you, CCSU came into this game, I think, second in the FCS in total sacks. I think they're averaging like 3.3 per game. What was kind of the scouting report on them coming in, and then just how would you assess the job the O-line did today? I know it was only.
We were very aware this week of CCSU's capabilities up front and in the box as a whole. They've got a great unit up front. They've got some great linebackers, and we saw that all day. It was a great competition out there. Number 4 was great on the edge. Number 9, number 25, I believe, 24. All really good guys. So it's a big part of our practice plan every week. Practicing their blitzes, working on the twist game, picking up stunts. And, we got after them in the run today too, I thought, big time. We really got after them. And, that helped us open up the pass and kind of calm them down as well.
Grayson, following your big breakout performance last week with your first start this week, how did you mentally prepare for, a big day like this, and how did you feel out there on the field in that first half? I mean, you looked really composed, but what was the mental preparation coming into this week as a starter?
Yeah, I think first off, definitely felt confident, but props to Coach Daft and the rest of the quarterback room, Jackson, Proctor, me and Woods, even Kyle and Noah, our 2 freshmen. We all prepare every single week as if we're the starter. You know what I mean? So we prepare every single week, and we feel comfortable no matter if you're the third string or the second string or whatever. You have to be ready. Coach Mack says it all the time. The next guy has to be ready. So, Jackson's there every single step of the way. He's helping me. Woods is helping me. We're all in it together. So that preparation is key mentally, just being confident, being ready, trusting my guys on the field. Even last week, I had to lean on the O-line and the receivers and tight ends at times because, I'm not as experienced. But as long as I go out there confidently and they have my back, I have theirs, we all feel really good and comfortable on the field together.
Jordan, for you, another blocked field goal. I guess, can you just walk me through kind of what you saw on that play? And then I know you talked about after the first one that you had felt like it was coming all week. Was that the case again this week?
Yes, sir. It's that tight formation. I just love it. It's amazing. But, yeah, so I saw it. They came out. The first couple ones, they have a really good operation. So, the first couple ones, I was like, dang, I'm not getting there. And then that one, they slowed down the operation just a little bit, bending the edge, and just Coach Kaz does a great job too of just letting me know and teaching me how to do that stuff. So shout out to them. Great team win though. Love the guys, man. Great team win.
Delby, as one of the leaders of the O-line unit, how do you lead a group like the offensive line, which is so important, especially seeing as Dartmouth ran the ball 44 times today? The O-line has such a huge part to play in making those holes. Even in a game like this where holes are tough to find and there wasn't that much space, how does the O-line continue to sort of push through, and how do you lead a group of guys like that?
I'd say I got to give credit to the other 4 linemen too, as well as our big boys at tight end. When we go out there to run the ball, it doesn't work unless everyone's doing their job. We're very confident in one another. We trust one another a lot. We're very lucky to have an experienced older group of guys. I believe our youngest player up front is me. It's juniors and seniors across the board. So, when you have that kind of trust and camaraderie that you build year over year, that really helps when we go out there on game day. Especially, we're starting to see the fruits of that a lot this year as well. But, I'd say from a leadership perspective, it's not one guy ever. It takes everyone, because if one person's not doing their job, it doesn't matter what the other 4 are doing, even if it's perfect. So it's been really good.
Come on, Bruce.
Coach, I know today was kind of a little bit of a reunion of sorts. I mean, Isaac was back, but then also Coach Castellito and Coach Hebert. Did that make today a little more meaningful at all? I guess what did you get to talk to Isaac post game, and then what? I know you talked in the build up to this week that Coach Castellito and Coach Hebert were instrumental in kind of planning for the game. So I guess what just the takeaways on that end?
Yeah, I mean, I think for those guys, it was definitely a bigger game. Obviously, they got a lot more stock in Central Connecticut, Isaac Boston's he's a fantastic young man. I've enjoyed him being in our program, and super proud of what he's doing at Central Connecticut right now. And I saw him after the game. We gave each other a big hug, and I told him, man, holy cow, you were the guy that almost got us. But no, he's a fantastic young man, and I'm just really excited about his future. But yeah, obviously, for those, Coach Hebert and Coach Cass, I'm sure it feels good, to be on the winning side of it. But once you start the game, all that stuff's out the window. That doesn't matter. You got to go out there and execute, and that's what we did pretty much the majority of the game.
You talk about the wing touchdown play and the change, and what you thought when you saw the flag go up.
Well, I kind of figured that flag. I figured it's probably offsides on them because we look pretty clean. Our guys do a good job at the wide receiver position, making sure they're properly lined up. But yeah, I was hoping that's what it was going to be. But yeah, it was one of those games, man. It's just you never know what's going to happen. But you can't panic, and you just got to be ready. Okay, you got to adjust now. And we do a drill all the time in our practice called sudden change, and we switch it up and we put them in different scenarios and good scenarios, bad scenarios, and you got to be prepared for all that and just be able to respond. But luckily, that it was against them, and we were able to put it in the end zone there at the end. That was big.
Another one was you were gonna go for the touchdown and you kicked the field goal instead, which ends up being key. Talk about the mentality there.
I'm sure the analytics says I should have gone for it, but no, I just think right there, in my mind, is I wanted points. I wanted the lead because I feel like if we get the lead, then we build energy. Our guys will start to feel like, hey, we're in the front. We're in front now, and kind of allow our guys to kind of try to put the foot on the gas. But hats off to Central Connecticut. They're a well-coached team, and they battled back and put themselves in a situation to potentially win that game at the end of the game. So. I'm very impressed by them. Those guys, the team fights to the end every single snap.
Team forming an identity early in the season. This is now like 4 drag them out type of wins, 1 possession games. Like, is that just kind of the identity of this group that it's just one that's going to battle?
That's who we are. We just battle. We battle. And we feel like you just put yourself in a situation where you give yourself a chance to win at the end, if that's the case. And I think our guys, they're very composed. Maybe it's because all the opportunities we've been in those situations. But like I said, we work on a lot of that stuff, being in these tight type of games. That's what football is now, really. If you watch games every Saturday now, they're down to the end, they're down to the wire. Because I think the talent level is even across the board, especially all the teams we play. But yeah, just be able to not panic and be able to go out there and keep performing. That's the key.
The penalties today, only 2. I think both were on that drive, one of those drives in the second quarter. I guess
Was it 2 or 1?
I thought it says 2 on the online sheet.
Yeah.
But
Down our average, below our average. That's great.
I guess just the impressions. I know you talked about the team playing a clean game today, but just the impressions of the defensive group, the O-line, just kind of limiting penalties across the board.
Yeah, they did a good job, and I think that has a lot to do with Grayson too. I think we did a good job coaching wise this week of making sure just our communication was cleaner. I think that was the big deal in the past is our communication wasn't great, and slightly if you're off just a little bit, that can create some movement. But I thought Grayson did a very good job. I thought our coaches did a very good job in making sure the communication was cleaned up front. We had the 2 passing, the hold and the pass interference, J-Dub, which we'll see on that one. But we can't tug, we can't grab. We got to go back to being better at our technique. Our guys, when they play their technique, they're a good team, good players. And we just can't get sloppy. You can't get sloppy with our eyes and end up grabbing like that.
I mentioned to Delby earlier about the rush, like the rush attempts. Really trying to hammer in that ground game. Was that an emphasis throughout the game that even if it wasn't always the most open time, there were a lot of first down runs and a lot of big important runs. 6-7 yards, which made a key difference. Was that an emphasis to stick to the ground game, even when it didn't seem to be quite as efficient as maybe you'd have hoped?
Yeah, no doubt. And I think against a good defense like that, they're going to force you to really have to work hard for every yard you get. And but you can't abandon the scheme, the play. What we wanted to do in that game, because they're a very good defense, and they're going to knock you back and get you a minus yard, but you can't abandon what you want to do. You got to stick to it. And I think our offensive coaches did a good job. Our offense did a good job. Our offensive line, they felt like we can create holes, and I thought our running backs ran hard. And like you said, when we needed those yards, we got them. And you got to be patient, and you never know when that big play is going to happen. And then you got to stay to the script, and that's what we did.
Defensively, were y'all aware at all going in that Howard might not play today, their running back? And then how did you think the team or the up front, how y'all did in terms of stopping the run? I think it was only 3.5 yards per carry today.
No, we weren't aware of it. We were going to, we always prepare ourselves for everybody. But yeah, our defensive line, they've done a phenomenal job this year of creating problems for offenses trying to run the ball. They do a good job of getting off blocks. We got to clean up. We got to, especially that last touchdown down there, we had some missed tackles, and that can't happen. You got them stuck in the hole. You got to finish them. And so we got to, once again, it goes back to the fundamentals, the techniques. And when we give up big plays, it's because we're not utilizing our fundamentals. But no, our D-line does a really good job. They do a good job of occupying, forcing double teams. Josiah and Ejike and Porter, they do a very good job. Now it cleans it up for our linebackers who can play downhill. And now they can play, now get ready to finish the play in the hole.
Yeah, last question, but you love the third platoon, as you said, the special teams unit. They once again come up with some huge plays in this one. Block field goal, of course, by Jordan, as well as the punt return, which sort of switched the field right away from that face mask. How do those plays, which have been coming up key so many times this season, how do they impact the momentum of your team, and how have you been how's the special teams sort of been helping this team's identity?
Yeah, Coach Cass does a great job, and all our coaches are involved with special teams, and we work on it during the week. Everybody's invested in it, and we play a lot of guys on our special teams, and but we take a lot of pride in that. It is a third part of the game, and usually when you're going to play in a tight game, it's going to be the special teams that gives you that edge. And obviously blocking that kick, and then that big punt return there, that was huge. That was huge for our offense, and which led to a touchdown. And then obviously blocking that that kick, it keeps them from putting points on the board. And as you see at the end there, that was important. But we know, and we tell guys all the time, you never know when your number's going to be called, and you're going to have to be the guy that makes that play. So go out there and be ready to do it all the time. And our guys stepped up when they needed to.
And Coach, Columbia beat Penn today. That score just went final. Next week's going to be the two lone 2-0 teams in Ivy League play. Is there an extra message about that? I know this is the program's best start since the 2021 season. Do you have to address that at all, or is it something?
It's the next opponent. They're the next opponent. We'll enjoy this one today. We'll watch it tomorrow, and then we'll clean it and go out to practice tomorrow, and we'll start prepping and preparing. But they're the next opponent. And our goal each week is to try to go 1-0. And we're going to practice and do what we need to do to put ourselves in a situation to try to do that.